playing for glory, Arsenal way.
Hello and welcome to the Arsenal Way, back again with you guys for another episode for what is hopefully a step closer to more transfer news and good signings and, of course, pre-season, because we're only 2 days away now, of course, from that first pre-season game against Nuremberg in Germany. The players, or some of the players, are away. Some are still, of course, with their families on their international holidays after competing in the international break. I saw a picture, I think it was Ramsdale enjoying his time in Miami. It's all right for some, isn't it? But a lot, of course, are now in Germany ahead of that game. Arsenal also plays in their under-21s former pre-season game yesterday, which they lost against Woking, but it was some really good experience. Some of the young players, goals from the likes of Marcelo Flores, who scored a fantastic goal. If you've not seen it circulating through your social feeds, worth trying to find. But I'm joined today by Bailey. How you doing, mate? You good? You well?
Yeah, I'm good as always, TC. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Chris, how are we?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Like you say, hoping for some more transfer developments. Really, it's all gone a bit quiet, but yeah, no, I hope everyone's keeping well and looking forward to diving into some topics this morning.
Indeed. Good morning to everybody joining us in the chat box. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. We'll try and get to some of your questions towards the end of the show as well. Let's talk about the German training camp, because, of course, that's where the focus is. There's been pictures through the Arsenal website. Chris, I saw you uploaded a compilation of clips from the Arsenal social feeds as well about who's gone and who's currently there. Jesus getting into the swing of things. Bailey, do you think this is kind of the perfect opportunity for him to link up with his new teammates?
Absolutely. I think Arteta wanted him in before pre-season so he could just learn from his other teammates, learn how they play, create sequences for when the real season does start on August the 5th. And it's a great opportunity to link up the players, know how his teammates play, let his teammates know how he plays. And it's always good being with your team before the season starts, just to get used to everything. I think signings tend to do better when they have a pre-season under their belt and they can get off to a strong start. And Arsenal need a strong start in the forward departments because, of course, we've been screaming out for a striker, and Jesus is that guy. So hopefully the pre-season will definitely benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of players, Chris, that have gone to Germany that are probably not going to be at the club next season. You know, the likes of Pepe, Marie. I think Maitland-Niles may have travelled. Reece Nelson, I think, too. Bellerin, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any pictures of Bellerin, to be fair, out there yet to confirm he's gone. But, of course, he did play in that friendly against Ipswich, as did Maitland-Niles and Nelson and Pepe and Marie, etc. And Bernd Leno, of course, too, who has also travelled. Is that a bit strange? Not necessarily strange, but do you think there's going to be a strange dynamic with players knowing that their futures probably lie away from Arsenal, and yet they're away with the senior squad at the moment?
Yeah, it is strange, and it's probably not ideal. But you know, it's just one of those things that obviously they will know, and the club will know that they can't obviously move everyone on at once. So you know, it's just one of those things they've got to deal with as and when. So I mean, some of those mentioned, maybe all of those names you just mentioned, probably won't be at the club once the window slams shut. But again, on the flip side, it's an opportunity to maybe prove a point to Arteta and actually say, look, I can play a part in some form or the other. So obviously they'll know there's a lot of games to play, or more games to play next season. Obviously there's more opportunities from the bench as well. So I mean, obviously a couple of those names, especially Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, I think they're sort of maybe got more of a chance to stamp down a place in the squad. They're still young, they're still at a good age, they've still got lots of potential, and they've got quality. When they've found their confidence and they can find consistency in their game, then they can actually prove to be quite useful. But obviously, sort of all signs point in one direction, and that's towards the exit door at the moment. But things can change. And I'm sure behind the scenes, as we speak about this and as they're training in Germany with the rest of the squad, their respective agents are out there trying to find a new challenge for them. So obviously just some players, some names to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's some exciting youngsters coming through. Of course, they weren't all in Germany. Some of the players, as I've mentioned, like Amari Hutchinson, Marcelo Flores, have stayed behind. But I'd be surprised if they weren't involved on the US tour, unless, of course, a loan deal is agreed at some point. There's been rumours about Miguel Aziz possibly going to Spain on loan, but there's some exciting teenagers that have gone to Germany, Bailey, in the form of the likes of Lino Sousa, Walters, who are both fullbacks. Walters plays on the right and Lino Sousa plays on the left. Do you think, and I mean, we've previously reported at Football London that, Lino Sousa, Brooke Norton-Cuffy as well, who's not currently with them because he was with the England under 19s, but he has returned to London Colney now. Do you think that Arteta, who's we know a big admirer of these youngsters, maybe even sees a place for them in a senior setup next season, or is it just prep?
I think it's more prep, but potentially we have a much more fixtures to play this season, this upcoming season, than we did last season. So there's every chance that youngsters could get their chance. Now we know, of course, Lino Sousa is rated highly amongst the Arsenal higher ups. So I reckon if he does have a strong pre-season, there's every chance that he could be given game time next season. We still haven't signed a left back alternative, or shall I say backup for Kieran Tierney. So there's an excellent chance there for Sousa to have a very strong pre-season. And maybe get into Arteta's plans. I think Brooke Norton-Cuffy, I think he should be in the team, regardless if we do decide to keep Cedric, because I do think we need a better alternative to Tomiyasu. So I'd like to see Brooke Norton-Cuffy there, But as for Lino Sousa, I think he is the guy who can really surprise Arsenal fans and surprise Arteta maybe with a really strong pre-season to get into his plans.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are other players, obviously Charlie Patino, Chris, who we've talked about previously, has bulked up quite a bit. You need that added muscle to compete, in the Premier League. Aziz looks like he's going on loan. There's been no links with Patino going on loan, and the expectation was that he probably wouldn't, and that he would be involved with, the senior setup. And this will be his first pre-season with the senior side. I remember last year we played some games at home. I remember Aziz scored in that game against Watford we had before the season started. But Patino hasn't really had an opportunity with the senior side. So how big of a chance do you think this is for him?
Yeah, huge. I think looking back at last season, though, I know especially on those cup games we covered in particular, we were saying, "Oh, where's Patino? Is he going to play? He deserves a chance." But looking at the bigger picture, it's fair to say that Mikel Arteta's, pushed him into the first team in the right way, giving him an opportunity every now and then, the opportunity, in both matches and in training sessions with the first team. Obviously, he's getting some more experience with them right now as well. And if he's on that plane to America in a week's time, which I'm sure he will be, it's a massive opportunity for him to, I guess, in a way, take his game to another level, because he's been stuck in between the under 23s and the first team. Sometimes he's training with both groups as well. There were times, obviously, last season where if he wasn't playing in the cup competitions of the first team, sometimes he was on the bench due to obviously all those injury issues. But now, there's a chance where he's maybe getting a step closer to the first team set up on a more permanent basis. Obviously, he's still a sort of a fair amount away from the first team, because he's still very young. And like I say, you need to sort of take the right steps at the right times with these sort of players. But, he all the signs are positive with Patino. He's got a good attitude. He works hard. Obviously, as you mentioned a moment ago, and as we touched on in yesterday's show, looks as if he's bulked himself up a little bit physically. He's been working hard on his body, getting ready for the new season. And perhaps, that's a hint, maybe that he is going to be more involved with the first team. So I'm excited to just see, continue watching his development and continue to see him in pre-season. I'm sure he'll feature in a couple of games. And like I say, with more fixtures to play next season, more sort of opportunities to come from the bench with the increased substitutions. He has absolutely every chance to be involved more, and there's a lot of excitement around his name, and rightly so. He's got something special about him. But of course, it's important we don't get too carried away. But no, I think he'll do well. Like I say, he's got everything, to sort of go in the right direction, continue to develop as a player, and these experiences with the first team will only help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a question, I think, from Jamie who said, will Patino travel to the US? Do we think? I'd be shocked if he didn't. You know, if he doesn't, I think it would be more so because possibly about a deal with a loan being sorted out, but I don't see that happening. Yeah, I think Patino will be involved and he's going to get plenty of opportunities to play in the first team as well. Let's move on to transfer stories because we know how much everybody enjoys trying to think about who might be coming into the club this summer. And Youri Tielemans, Bailey, continues this link. Now, the latest on this story is that, of course, Arsenal have had personal terms agreed for some time. The player is very open to a move to Arsenal, and yet we've never put a bid in with Leicester at this stage. There seems to be continuing reports that Arsenal are, you know, considering making a bid, and that the situation hasn't really changed, that we were focusing on other targets like Rafinha previously and now Alessandro Martinez. I'm getting agitated, Bailey, you know, with this because he's a player that's gettable, available for a very reasonable price, a player that we need in midfield, and we're not, you know, taking the leap, taking the jump. Does this frustrate you as well?
Look, I think Arsenal have a structure in place where they don't think the midfield is a priority. I think we are stacked in that position. When you think about it, of course, we have a lot of players in that position, so we don't really need. It's not a necessity where we've signed Fabio Vieira. Of course, I think the left back position is an absolute need. It's an absolute necessity with Tierney needing a backup. Also believe, of course, other targets on the wing position where we need to add to our firepower, and then the midfield comes into power. I think we are confident with Tielemans, but we have to be careful. You're all right, TC. We have to be careful because we don't know. Manchester United lose out on Frankie de Jong. Suddenly, they're going to come for Tielemans. And where we've thought so much, Tielemans might think, what? Wait, hold on. These clubs don't... Arsenal doesn't want me, so why am I going to sign for you guys? I'd rather sign for a club who wants to come in and take me straight away. So, yeah, it is a risky one by Edu. But again, I think it is a transfer. As the window starts to come closer to ending, we will know more. I reckon we'll bring in Tielemans before the end of the window.
Wow, you heard it here first. Exclusive from Bailey Keogh. Believing that Arsenal will wrap up the Tielemans deal. No, look, I'm hopeful that Tielemans can get done. I really think he's a player that would improve us. I slightly disagree with you about him being not necessarily a necessity. I really think that he is. Chris, I was interested to hear Bailey be a bit maybe conservative on that. What do you think? That's a really bad choice of words considering the state of the government right now. He was very measured. Very measured at the moment. Chris, how do we feel?
Yeah, you got a hand in your resignation, Bailey. Look, I'm a big fan of Tielemans. I've said it all along. He's a player that will add something different to our midfield, score goals as well, something that we've obviously been lacking from that area. Obviously, you've both spoken about it there, and especially Bailey, maybe having some sort of a agreement with Tielemans somewhere, and it's something we'll revisit later on in the window. That's the dream scenario, is it? Maybe. Who knows? We don't know for definite. Obviously, there's been lots of talk about personal terms being agreed, as you say, TC. That's a good step in the right direction. But what would really be a positive in this transfer saga is that if we've basically gone to Tielemans, agreed personal terms, and said, look, we want you. We've got everything sorted on the personal side of things. It's something we're looking to get done, but we're just looking for the right time in this window, maybe looking to see what else happens in the window, see if we can sell a couple of players first to create more room. And then once that's done, rest assured, we'll come and get you. So I'm hoping something like that is in place for Tielemans. But if not, we obviously mentioned the Manchester United interest there, especially if they don't get De Jong. So maybe we'll accelerate things if that scenario comes around, because it seems as if we've got sort of the main parts of the deal in place. We've been speaking to his representatives for a very long time, just like we did with Jesus, it seems. So then hopefully, if the time comes, or if there's a need for us to wrap things up quickly, we can do that because of the things we've already put in place. So, fingers crossed. I really would like to see Tielemans come in. I think he's a great opportunity on the market. He's a player that would improve us, and a reasonably cheap option too, judging by the reports, 25-30 million pounds. Maybe the highest will be around 35. But again, for me, that's an absolute steal in today's market. So just like both of you lads, I'm really, really hoping we can get this one wrapped up, whether it's, soon or towards the end of the window.
Yeah, I think he's a player that will, add so much, and I think that hopefully we start to hear some stories, some news, some information creeping through the grapevine that Arsenal are moving for him. There's a lot of chat in the chat box about Marco Asensio, it seems. I was just doing some, just not shaking your head, Bailey. So even the mention of his name, is just the muscles in his neck just can't resist. But yeah, look, I like the guy. I'm not saying he's, the primary option for me. I think there are a lot of other wide players that are better for Arsenal, certainly more stylistically fitting what Arteta wants. But it is an interesting link, and it's one that I was just, while you were talking, Chris, just trying to dig up some information on. Supposedly would be available for around or less than £25 million this summer, represented supposedly by Jorge Jesus, or would be involved in that. Mendes. Jesus, I'm thinking of the Benfica coach all of a sudden. But Mendes, of course, who did help out in the Fabio Vieira deal, so Arsenal have got their strong links with him and Edu. Bailey, you shook your heads. If I said it was a case of Arsenal can't go and get the Rafinhas, the Diabys of this world, Arsenal are going to go and get your Martinez's, they're going to go and get a Tielemans, and a bonus signing this summer would be Asensio. I'm sensing that you're really on board with this idea, so tell me why.
Not at all. This seems like a panic buy. You see, that is Asensio is a panic buy if we do decide to sign him. I think there's so many better options out there. You sign Asensio and then that kills your transfer possibly for January if there's a better opening. There's no need to rush and sign Asensio. We do have good wingers in place already where we don't need to go and panic buy and just say, oh, we need to go and buy a player automatically. Also, Asensio is not guaranteed to be an extra goal source for you. And if we're signing a player on the wings, I prefer the player to have more goals to his games and offer something different to Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli. And Asensio is not that. He was maybe that before his ACL injury. After that, he has not been that. He has not been a regular under Carlo Ancelotti. He hardly started a game. He was mostly a bench player. And you don't want to sign bench players from another team. It's not what we're doing. And Asensio has not shown to me that he will come to Arsenal and enhance Mikel Arteta's squad. He has also not shown me that he will come to Arteta's squad and be fully fit for the season. And I know, TC, you have you're almost the injury police, so I'm surprised you're not on board fully with me there. But yeah, Asensio is not the Arsenal whatsoever. It'll be a panic buy if we do decide to sign Asensio, and it will show that we have not explored other targets. I can give you a few names right now off the top of my head. I can give you Moussa Diaby, Arnold Danjuma, who would be much better signings than Asensio. Would definitely take Arsenal to that next level, which we want to get to.
In fairness, he suffered that cruciate ligament injury in 1920 against Arsenal, ironically, in a pre-season friendly. He came back at the end of the season that was first hit by the pandemic and obviously got delayed. He's not suffered too many issues. He's had the one-off 1 or 2 games that he's missed because of a minor knock or something, but it's more so, I think, with the injuries, the level of performance he's delivered since that injury that is obviously the concern. He's a wide playmaker. He's not a winger like Rafinha or Pepe or a Moussa Diaby style player. He is more of a, if you were to play Martin Ødegaard in a wide area, that's kind of what you would get from Marco Asensio. Look, he's got plenty of quality. He's got the ability to take players on. He's got good vision, good creation. I think I might do a little bit more digging into this one today and probably do a piece on this to really get an answer, because I need to do some more looking into kind of his stats and how he's performed since that injury. Chris, how do you feel about Marco Asensio? And Umar, I'll say, asked the question, if you had to choose between Neto or Asensio, who would you go for? Because Neto too has returned for a big injury as well.
Good question. I mean, look, ideally, on my dream list of targets, neither of them would be on there. Bailey, to be fair to him, he's named a good couple of options there. I mean, Cody Gakpo is another one. I'm a big fan of his. Yeah. Even someone, I know this will probably split opinion because he probably doesn't have enough goals in him as a part of his game that he needs to improve on. But even someone like Alan St. Maximin at Newcastle, I think he'd be a really, really good option for us. If I had to choose one there, though, Umar, I'd probably go Neto, just because he's younger. Obviously, I appreciate he's just come back from that nasty injury, but I think that's only sort of the main significant injury he's had in his career, and he'll come back stronger from it. I'm sure he did start to play towards the end of last season, and I'm sure if he keeps his fitness up and keeps consistency in his game, then he'll reach back to that form he was once at. So that's what I'd go for. But Yeah, I mean, Asensio, it's another name, isn't it? That's been cropping up for a long time now. Well, ever since really Mikel Arteta took over, you'll probably know him well from the Spanish, with it being the Spanish links there. Yeah, obviously we've already got a decent relationship with Real Madrid with the Dani Ceballos deal, then Martin Odegaard. I've done an article on Asensio. I thought it must have been a month or two back, and it was basically looking how Mikel Arteta could sort of repeat what he did with Martin Odegaard with someone like Asensio. Again, he's someone, obviously, the main difference here is the injury to Asensio. But again, he's struggling for that consistency. Maybe he isn't playing every single week like Martin Odegaard was the situation with Martin Odegaard at Madrid. But the talent is there, and I think if you find that confidence again, if you give him a key role in the team, again, he may not be a starter for Arsenal, but he'll get more game time. He'll have more of an added sense of responsibility. Then that Arteta could again bring out a very talented player that we know is in there somewhere. So, there's two different ways you could look at that. But personally, I wouldn't say he should be at the top of the list for me. Again, like I say, Bailey's mentioned some more stronger names there, but that would make more sense. And you've got more the likes of Gakpo, St. Maximin as well. Again, just off the top of my head, a couple more names that I think would be a better fit for us. So yeah, I'm not so sure in terms of the style of player. Asensio is what we need. Potentially we're talking about competition here for Bukayo Saka, a replacement for Nicola Pepe. These are natural wingers that bring pace, energy, work rate, tricky feet to beat the opposition, goals, assists. And if I'm looking at what they offer, what their style of play is like, to then comparing it to someone like Asensio, I'm not sure it's the route to go down personally. But look, if we're desperate, we're getting towards the end of the window. We've sold Pepe, but we still haven't managed to bring anyone in. And unfortunately, we haven't got much choice but then to go for someone like Asensio, unless obviously Reece Nelson is impressing in pre-season, and he's said to Mikel Arteta, look, give me a chance. So it's obviously like that wing position. It's like the central midfield. It's like left back, centre back. It's a position to keep a close eye on between now and the end of the window. But I'm sure we'll see some movement.
Yeah, people asking in the chat box kind of what wages Asensio's on. Just doing a little bit of research into that. According to Salary Sport, he's on £117,000 per week, which seems a lot, but that's less than Dani Ceballos is on at Real Madrid right now. You might be surprised to learn who's on 128,000.
We're forgetting about Marquinhos as well in that conversation. I feel bad for not mentioning him. Again, who knows? Who's to say he's not going to do a Gabby Martinelli and impress pre-season and take it by storm? Who knows? He could prove a point and be involved next season.
Ozzy Guna says, how big is Marquinhos, by the way, lads? I never thought I'd see the day and say, damn, look at those legs, and be referring to a dude. Matt, you probably should go back and watch some of mine and Bailey's five-a-side footballs. You might be changing your mind very soon. Ronnie Pickering says, Bailey, what do you guys think of Maxwell Cornet from Burnley as an alternative? 9 goals in 26 games for a relegated Burnley side. Good return.
It's not a bad show. He was excellent for Burnley. I think before the African Cup of Nations, he was Burnley's main goal scorer. He played up front as well. Arsenal do need, I think, a third striker there. So Cornet could be an option on the wing or a striker. And I remember for Leon, he did play at wing back as well. So he could be the versatile player that Arsenal could get. But I think if he's available for cheap, I think it is a decent option. Definitely not my top option, but an option for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be intriguing how this window ends and who we end up going for in all these different positions. But there is now less than a month until the season starts. The clock has started really to tick. And Arsenal need to make sure they get the players in that they need before the season is done. Thank you so much for tuning in, people. Really appreciate your time as always. Do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with those notifications turned on so you never miss a show. Bailey, thank you so much for your time. Always appreciate it.
Thank you, TC, CD, and everyone in the comment section as well.
Indeed. We need to get someone who's DVD. We need to get some of those editions on the channel as well. Maybe we'll step up and get Blu-ray on as well. Chris, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you, lads. Pleasure as always. And thank you to everyone in the comment section. Hope everyone has a great day.
Absolutely. Drop a like, subscribe, and as always, keep following us down the Arsenal way.
49, 49, undefeated. Playing for glory, Arsenal way.